build a ticking digital clock in React in minutes. In this video, we're gonna do it in only 16 minutes and we'll use Tailwind CSS for styling. Are you ready? Let's begin. All right, so first things first, let's create our React app. We're gonna use npm create with @latest dot. So we create the app in the root directory. And let's choose React, and we're going to use plain JavaScript. Use roll down with no, and install with npm and start no. So the next step, we're going to install our node modules folder using npm install. So we have to wait a little bit. All right. One more thing we need to do is to install Tailwind for our React app. So let's go to your Google Chrome and let's write Tailwind with. You can just type exactly this words, Tailwind with, and you're gonna go to this link, installing Tailwind CSS with. So I'm gonna open this. So as soon as you open the page, you see that you have a command line here, npm install Tailwind CSS @Tailwind CSS with. So you can just copy this using this button and bring it here inside your terminal and paste it. Enter. It's going to take a while. Very good. Now Tailwind is installed. Now on the next box, we have two lines that we need to import to this with.config.js. So the first line is this one, import Tailwind from Tailwind CSS. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to paste it right here, right at the bottom of React. And you have a Tailwind CSS and parentheses. Here you copy that and you place it after React here, like this. So you have React and Tailwind CSS. And the last thing you need to do is to copy this one. I'm going to copy this import Tailwind CSS. Let's go to src folder. And let's open index.css, clear everything out, and paste import Tailwind CSS. That's it. Now delete this app.css, delete this asset so we don't need it. Open app.jsx and clear everything. And using arrayfce, we create our React component, or we can just type it out. Let's erase this React, we don't need it. And here I'm going to create an H1 and write digital clock. So now, if I run my app using npm run dev, so my app is now running on port 5173. I'm going to copy this URL and I'm going to paste it right here. Oh, sorry, I stopped the app, sorry. npm run dev, again, very good. Now, yeah, you can see that I have digital clock right here. So normally I always first create the UI of the project and then I go for the React logic. But this time I'm going to start with the React logic first and then I go for the UI of the project. So first things first, you need to import useEffect and useState from React. So make sure you have these two hooks up above the app.jsx. We have import useEffect and useState, and both of them are from React. Now inside the app component, first thing I do is to create our useState. So it's going to be const time and set time. We're going to set it to useState, and inside that useState, we're going to use the new date object. So this is the time object. And now, so this is our useState hook we actually used. Now let's go for the useEffect. Let me put a hashtag here. So for the useEffect, we're going to write useEffect, and then inside that useEffect, I'm going to create a const timer, which is going to be our variable to hold the time. So I'm going to set it to set inter val. Inside our interval, I'm going to say set time to new date object, and we need to update the time each 1000 milliseconds, which is actually each 1 second. So 1 second by second, we're going to update this timer, which is going to make our clock to change the time every second. Now, after this 1000, we're going to return a, let's say, clear interval, and we're going to put the timer inside that. Now, why we actually use a clear interval here? We actually use set interval, and it actually starts a repeating task, and in your case, updating the time state every second. It returns an ID here stored in timer here, and that actually uniquely identifies that interval. And why we use clear interval? React's useEffect hook can run code when a component mounts, and that function, the function you return from useState, is a cleanup function that runs when the component unmounts or before rerunning the effect. Without cleanup, the interval would keep running even after the component is removed from the screen, causing memory leaks, maybe, or unnecessary background work and errors. So this is why we actually use clear interval here. Now, after that, we're gonna create a function, const format time. We're gonna use the date as the parameter, and let's say that it's gonna be date to locale time string, and we're gonna use the English US time format. And let's say the hour should be a 2-digit number. Minute should be also a 2-digit number. And second should be also a 2-digit number. And that's it. Very good. Now we can go for the UI of our project. We're going to use this format time to display our clock. So inside that div, we're going to create a class name, and we're going to give it a class of mean, height, screen, flex, items, center, and justify center. And then let's give it a bg gradient to br from black via zinc 950 to black overflow should be hidden, and this is the background. Now inside that div, first let's create our ambient gradient blobs. So the first one is going to be a div with the class name of absolute, and the top is going to be 40, left should be 40, and a width of 500 pixels, a height of 500 pixels. Let's give it a bg purple 600/30 and a rounded full, and a blur of 160 pixels. So this is our blob at the top left. Now let's copy and paste this div here another time. Now we're going to change a few things. So this top should be bottom. This left should be right. 500 and 500 pixels are correct, but the color should be cyan. And let me check. And now the blur is okay. Rounded full is okay. Absolute bottom 40. All right, 40, 500. Yeah, I think that's let's change this cyan to 500, so it's a little bit more clear to see. Very good. That's it. Now under this ambient cards, we're gonna go for the clock card. And for the clock card, I'm going to create a div, and the div should have a class name of relative, a z10, and a px padding from left and right 14, and a py padding from top and bottom 10, a rounded or border radius of 32 pixels. And let's give it a bg zinc 900/60 backdrop blur XL, and a border white /10, and a shadow. Let me check so far to see what happened. Yeah, we have actually our clock container here. So let's give it a shadow. We're going to give it a shadow 0_0_80 pixels _RGBA, and inside RGBA, let's write these numbers: 168, 85, 247, and 0.35. That's it. So this is the shadow that we have around our container. Very good. Now let's have a glow layer. So the glow layer is going to be again a div, and this is going to have the class name. Inside that, we're going to have nothing. So let me just bring it right here. So the class name should be absolute, inset should be 0, and rounded should be 32 pixels. Also, we're going to have a bg gradient to right from purple 500/20 via pink 500/20 to cyan 500/20, and the blur should be 2x large and a z10. So very good. Now after that div, we're going to create our h1 here. So first, the h1 should be actually, if you write the text right here, so you can see that we have this text. But if I write, instead of that, if I open and close curly braces and write format time, and inside that function, if I put time, you see that we have actually our timer. Let me zoom, so you can see that we have our timer, and this is actually the second is updating itself. So let me zoom out again. So now if we actually give our h1 styling, it's gonna look so much better. We're gonna give it text 6XL, so it's gonna make it bigger. Now let's give it an MD text 7XL and a font mono, and tracking should be 0.3 EM, and the text should be transparent, and the BG clip text and BG gradient to right from purple 400 via pink 400 to cyan 400. Drop shadow. We're going to give it a shadow of 0 underline 0 underline 25 pixels and underline RGBA, and let's give it a 236 72 comma 153 comma 0.6. Let me check. Very good. Now we have our clock. It's working. It's actually exactly the same as the demo. And under that h1, we create a p tag. I will write Kodiak digital clock. Let's give it a class name of empty6 text center text XS, and uppercase tracking widest, and text zinc 400. But you can actually write whatever you like. I just write Kodiak digital clock. So that was it. This project was as easy as you actually saw. And if you had any questions, if you wanted me to create any specific project, just let me know in comments. Drop me a comment. Thank you so much for watching the video, and see you in the next video.